Welcome to Artipret. This is a channel where we look at art of all kinds and do a little bit of thinking about it. This video is something that I'm really passionate about, and I hope you stick with me till the end. I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, give me that like and subscribe to my channel. And also, if you have thoughts, please do comment them in the comment section. I am very excited about this video. Rasa theory is my favorite topic. uh, I found this really interesting paper which talks about how we perceive rasa. But before we go there, we have a lot of ground to cover. We need to understand the basics of this theory, and that's what we're doing in this video. The paper will come in part 2. Don't worry about it, it's going to happen soon. I will start with a small introduction of rasa as prescribed by the Natyashastra, talk about the definition, the different types, as well as the origin of rasas. We'll talk about what are bhavas and what is their relationship with rasa. And we will look at the different types of bhavas, that is, the classification of bhavas. Finally, I've planned for us to look at examples and do an analysis of our own. In this video, we're looking at the theory proposed by Bharata Muni in his masterpiece, the Natyashastra. The Natyashastra is said to have been composed around the 2nd century BC by some scholars. This theory has become a cornerstone in Indian aesthetic and aesthetic analysis. And this theory, of course, is the Rasa theory. This was my favorite topic of study during my years of learning Bharatanatyam, and it still is. Oh my god, I'm so excited about this topic every time my professors or my teachers are teaching me. It's fascinating. I'm sure you will resonate with me as we go through this video. It is such an interesting way to analyze art because we're considering the feel of art, how we perceive it. And Rasa is first and foremost a framework to analyze art and understand our relationship with that piece of art. What is rasa? Um, the cool thing is that English doesn't really have a word equivalent to rasa that everyone agrees upon. Um, so we look at the definitions given by the Natyashastra and understand it accordingly. There's a small caveat here. When I talk about going to the Natyashastra, I'm talking specifically about the translation by Dr. Manmohan Ghosh. So, the word sentiment is used by Dr. Ghosh while describing rasa. But the actual definition goes something like this: Rasa is so called because it is capable of being tasted. It is also called aesthetic enjoyment by Vasanta Vedam in her book, The Handbook on Natyashastra. She defines it as a juice, potion, flavor, a taste sample. So, what does this really mean? It is my understanding that when you view or encounter a piece of art that you really resonate with, it leaves a sentiment or it leaves something for your mind to savor. That is the rasa. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're watching a romantic movie. The warm fuzzies that you feel during this movie is the rasa. We will talk about the different types very soon. In both our definitions, we saw that rasa is associated with taste. The analogy Bharata Muni uses is actually talking about food and how we experience food. He says that when we eat, delicious food made with different ingredients, it that flavor is something that your tongue can savor. Yeah, that rhymes. Okay, coming back to this example, he says that rasa, in terms of art appreciation, is where different elements of the art come together and forms a flavor that can be savored by your mind. Most people who are acquainted with rasas associate it with nine rasas or the navarasas. So, this navarasa concept happened after the ninth century, but the rasas prescribed by Bharata are only eight in number. They are Shringara or erotic, Hasya or comic, Karuna or pathetic, Raudra or furious, Veera or heroic, Bhayanaka or the terrible, Bhibatsa or the odious, and Adbhuta or the marvelous. Of these, Shringara, Veera, Raudra, and Bhibatsa are considered primary rasas, and the outcome of these are the secondary rasas of Hasya, Adbhuta, Karuna, and Bhayanaka, respectively. The ninth, or Shantarasa or equanimity, was actually introduced by Udbhata, a scholar from the ninth century. So, from then onwards, this Navarasa concept kind of became more popular. I plan on making a video talking about each individual rasa and analyzing them through popular art, uh, mostly with film songs, but that's for future videos. So now the question arises, how does rasa originate? So it is said that when bhava is expressed through abhinaya, there is rasa. Bhava is the emotion or a psychological state, and abhinaya are ways to physically manifest it through hand gestures, body movements, through words, through different costumes and sets and properties, and all of these. So let's recap that. When you have an internal emotion and that is expressed through gestures or other physical manifestations, this results in rasa. Bharata also tackles the origin of rasa or rasa nishpatti as something that happens with the confluence of the vibhava, vyabhichari bhava, and anubhava. So let's unpack this. We need the bhava to form the rasa. Bhava literally means something that can be felt. That is the feeling or the emotion which is the driving force behind the art. This bhava needs a cause or a determinant. That is the vibhava. Vibhava is of two types. It's called alambana and uddipana vibhava. Alambana vibhava is the primary cause. Uddipana vibhava is the secondary cause which enhances the feeling. Let's look at the classic example of a love lone heroine. The love the hero has for her is the alambana vibhava. The uddipana vibhava are the situations like the bright moonlight or the soft cool breeze or the spring season. All of these factors which makes the romantic feeling much deeper. So vibhava is of two types, alambana and uddipana. which is the primary as well as the secondary causes. This is the vibhava. Let's talk about the vyabhichari bhavas. So the actual feelings which are caused by the vibhavas manifests itself as several temporary or transitional emotional states which come and go as per the situation. This is called the vyabhichari bhavas. So these often result in an outward manifestation called the anubhavas. The anubhava is something that is felt. Together, it gives rise to the rasa, that is the cause, the emotional states that come and go, and the final effect together form the rasa. While understanding the origin of rasa, we spoke a little bit about vyabhichari bhavas. These are just one of the types of bhavas. There are a total of 49 bhavas which are classified into three types. There are 8 sthai bhavas, 33 vyabhichari bhavas, and 8 sattvika bhavas. Let's go over each of these individually. Sthai bhava is also called the durable emotional state. That is, it's the emotion that lasts throughout the piece or throughout a segment. Maybe an example will make it easier. Let's go back to our romantic movie. The emotion that is present and being portrayed is romantic love. The ups and downs are still in the territory of love. That is, the couple may have disputes, there is conflict resolution, there are all of these that takes place, but at the end of the day, it is still romantic. The driving force is romance. This romantic feeling is the sthai bhava. The rasa of a romantic movie is shringara or erotic, and the sthai bhava is romantic or rati. I think a lot of you would have caught up right now, but each rasa has a specific sthai bhava, and we have 8 rasas, so there are 8 sthai bhavas. These are Shringara has rati or romantic love. Hasya, which is the comic sentiment, and this has the sthai of hasa or humor. The next is the karuna rasa or the pathetic sentiment. This sthai bhava for this is shoka or sorrow. The next rasa is raudra or the furious sentiment. The sthai bhava is krodha or anger. The next rasa is Veera or the heroic sentiment. The sthai for this is Utsaha or enthusiasm. The next one is Bhayanaka, and its sthai bhava is bhaya or terror. Bhibhatsa or the odious sentiment has the sthai bhava jigupsa or disgust. The last is adbhuta or the marvelous sentiment. Its Thai bhava is vismaya or astonishment. Let's talk about a few examples so that we can understand the importance of Sthai bhava in a particular piece of art. This time we're watching an action movie. The rasa that's being evoked is Veera rasa. The gusto, the enthusiasm of the protagonist, and their bravery leads to causing this rasa. And this enthusiasm or utsaha is the sthai bhava. Let's consider a comedy. The rasa is hasya. The characters have absurd dialogues and they engage in hijinks. With these are inherently very, very humorous. And this humor is the sthai for the hasya rasa. Vyabhichari bhavas. We just spoke about it during the rasa nishpatti. Vyabhichari bhavas are those emotional states which come and go. They are temporary or transitory emotional states. We just saw that this Thai bhava is something that gives the overall mood for the entire piece of art. And the Vyabhichari bhavas is something that adds depth, flavor, and nuances to this sentiment. Let's go back to our romantic movie examples and see how Vyabhichari bhavas enhance the romantic feeling. So, consider this scenario. The hero promises the heroine that he will show up for a rendezvous. Now, the heroine has a lot of excitement about meeting him. She's also anxious if he'll actually show up or not. And when they do meet, she is very shy. Now, this excitement, the anxiety, as well as feeling shy are the Vyabhichari bhavas. So they come in and out. The overall mood is still romantic. That's the relationship between sthai and Vyabhichari bhavas. Vyabhichari bhavas are 33 in number and can be used in different combinations across different rasas. Let me do a quick listing of these. Despondency, weakness, suspicion, jealousy, intoxication, weariness, indolence, depression, anxiety, delusion, recollection, contentment, bashfulness, inconsistency, joy, excitement, stupefaction, arrogance, despair, impatience, sleep, loss of memory, dreaming, wakening, indigestion, dissimulation, fierceness, understanding, sickness, insanity, death, fright, and deliberation. Sattvika bhavas. These are involuntary emotional states. Unlike the other two, this stems from deep within the mind. Uh, they tend to give a more natural effect for the overall sentiment. These are also eight in number and they can be applied to different rasas, unlike the sthai. They are paralysis, sweating, horripilation, loss of voice, trembling, becoming pale, tears, and fainting. Okay, now let's do a small exercise where we look at two examples and we will do a little bit of rasa theory analysis. Let's assume that you and I are screenwriters and we are writing a scene for a movie. Okay, let's start with the first one. It's a romantic movie. I know I've overused the romantic trope, but the Shringara Rasa is also called the king of rasas, and there's a lot of scope. So, yes, we're starting with the romantic movie. The setting goes like this. Our heroine was asked out by the hero on a second date at a pretty cafe in the evening, and she is getting ready to meet him. She is humming a song and dreaming about how her date will go. She is jittery while choosing her clothes and thinking about the setting of the cafe. Her mind is full of the first date and how well it went. She is very excited to meet him again. So, the rasa we want to evoke is Shringara, and the sthai is rati or romantic love. The main cause or the alambana vibhava is the thought of meeting her lover. The uddipana vibhavas or the secondary causes are the romantic settings of the cafe and the prettiness of the evening view of the sky. The Vyabhicharis are her excitement, dreaming, recollection, deliberation, excitement, and joy. The Sattvika bhavas in this can be horripilation and trembling due to excitement, sweating due to nervousness. The Anubhavas are gestures like clever glances of the eye, movement of the eyebrows, sweet smiling words, and graceful movement of limbs. Let's write a similar scene for a different movie. This time, let's choose horror. Okay, the setting goes like this. It is night time and there is a storm outside with thunder and lightning. The heroine is alone in her room. The door to her room is creaking open on its own, and an unknown, shadowy form is creeping nearer and nearer to her. Her fear has made her weak, and she has almost given up on someone coming to save her. A sense of weariness has come over her, and her anxiety is through the roof. And most of all, she is extremely frightened. Let's move on to the analysis. The rasa we want to evoke is bhayanaka. The sthai bhava is fear or bhaya. The main cause or the alambana vibhava is the shadowy figure creeping towards her. The uddipana vibhava are the settings of the stormy night and the creaking of the door. The vyabhicharis are fear, anxiety, despondency, weakness, and weariness. The sattvika bhavas are becoming pale, cold sweats, trembling due to fear, paralysis, and tears. The Anubhavas are the shaking of the body, palpitations of the heart, dryness of the lips, mouth, and throat. So far, we have covered the basics of Rasa theory. We looked at what is Rasa, its definition. We looked at the origin of rasas and different types. We looked at the relationship between bhava and rasa and different types of bhavas. We looked at vibhava, anubhavas, and we did a little bit of analysis of our own. There is still so much more to come. In part 2, we will go over the research paper which links rasa theory to yogic psychology and tying it with neuroscience. That's a very interesting paper, and I hope that it gives you a new lens to view the same theory, because we'll also be looking at the contributions of different authors over time to this theory. It's really, really, really fascinating. And I also plan on making more videos where we look at individual rasas and think about examples from pop culture. For those of you who are still watching, thank you so much. It really means a lot. If you've enjoyed the video so far, give me a like and subscribe to my channel. And I would love to hear your comments. Please do take advantage of the comment section. And I really hope you enjoyed this video because I put in a lot of effort into making this one. And thank you for watching.